Good afternoon, I'm Joyce Allen and welcome to Channel 24 News. Tonight's top story, the 2010 near-fatal Qantas Flight 32 from Singapore to Sydney, where minutes after takeoff, one of the plane's engines blew, causing catastrophic failures to the Airbus's control systems. Miraculously, however, the plane and all passengers landed safely. Praise for this incredible outcome has been given to Captain Richard D. Crispini, whose experience and calm decision-making brought the plane to the ground safely. With us tonight is Georgina Smith and Pablo Jones from the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, who worked on the scene of the damaged aircraft. Good afternoon, Georgina and Pablo. Can you tell us exactly what happened to Flight QF32?
Thanks, Joyce. At 7,400 feet, during the climb out, the turbine disc in the aircraft's engine disintegrated, causing an explosion in the engine. Fragments flew out and destroyed 21 of the Airbus's 22 control systems, including the hydraulics, brakes, fuel, and landing gear systems. They had to turn back to Changi Airport. Their plane was over maximum landing weight, meaning they needed the longest runway available. Also, the crew had no anti-skid brakes and could only rely on one engine for reverse thrust. Thankfully, they landed the jet with just 150 meters on spare on the runway. It was an absolute disaster, and it is remarkable the plane landed safely and all aboard survived.
Do you believe pilot Richard D. Crispini was responsible for the plane's safe landing?
Absolutely. Engine failure are very real. Only 1 in every 3.5 pilots will ever experience an engine failure in their career. So there is no way they can really prepare for a scenario like Qantas Flight 32. In my opinion, I can see the same scenario with many, if any other pilot, any like it is. The damage to aircraft and control were enormous, and his experience and incredible aviation skill are what got the plane to the ground safely.
We also have with us today Eliana Brown, who was managing her team on Flight QF32 when disaster struck. Eliana, what was it like for you when the engine exploded?
When we heard the bang, we knew something was wrong straight away, and that's when fear struck throughout the entire plane. However, the captain straight away informed the staff and I immediately of the problem and to begin emergency procedures, which is something we have been trained our whole career for this, and this just naturally sort of kicked in. However, everyone on board was still nervous, asking a lot of questions and worried, but they were reassured at the end with the captain updating them every 10 minutes of the current situation for the entire 4 hours.
How do you think it was possible for you to stay so calm during such an intense situation?
When I look back on it, I never thought myself or the passengers would be so calm in such a situation. But I have to thank our captain, Mr. De Crispini, for that, because his leadership was just incredible. He took control the second disaster struck and also made sure that we knew exactly what the problem was and our roles into getting the plane and passengers to the ground safely. The communication was his key to the team working together the way he did. Even had it been for him being so sure of the situation, I don't think any of us would have been. So it is at a time like that when you look for someone to turn to, and he was there with all the answers. In the end, he really did save the day.
Marion Carroll is a mother of 3 who was flying from Singapore to Sydney on QF32 for her eldest daughter's wedding. She was sitting close to the wing and could see the damage to the plane the entire flight, but has said that although she was fearful, by the time the plane landed she was, and I quote, reading the sequel to 50 Shades of Grey. Marion, were you really not scared at all during the flight?
When I saw the massive hole in the wing, I saw my life flash before my eyes. But the way it was handled, after a while, I don't think anyone was freaking out. Although at first I was fearful there was a chance I may not make it to see my children again, for the majority of the flight I was calm. When we got off the plane and into the terminal, the pilot came up to us and addressed us as a group and told us we were all given accommodation and would be looked after by Qantas staff. The pilot even gave us his personal mobile number to call if we had any problems or if we felt we weren't being taken care of. He made sure we were all safe and looked after, even on the ground. That level of compassion and concern for each individual's well-being was incredible. I owe him my life and want to thank him for his bravery.
Next we have co-pilot Matthew Hicks from Qantas Flight QF32. Matthew, from what we've heard so far, it seems the efforts of Mr. Richard D. Crispini were absolutely miraculous. What was it like being in the cockpit with him when the control systems were failing?
There's definitely no one else I would have rather had shared the cockpit with. That's for sure. It was really an unprecedented disaster. With almost everything failing, It was a race against time to get the plane back on the ground and everyone off it. Things were just getting worse and worse, but Richard just impossibly seemed one step ahead of the plane. He had us to go through about 125 checklists, way more than we trained for in the simulator. He wanted to make sure he knew every possible scenario that could happen next and be prepared for it, and he was. Captain Richard went above and beyond protocol to assess every situation. Not many other pilots would have been able to avoid a state of panic, let alone known how to handle a situation as grave as Flight QF-32. His 35 years of experience were all that could have prepared him for this. He made it a team effort. He made everyone do their part and weigh in on the decisions. It's the best pilots I've ever had the pleasure to fly with.
Finally, we have here with us tonight Captain Richard D. Crispini, or should I say Pilot of the Year. Richard, how did the QF-32 incident affect you? Do you think you'll ever fly again?
Thank you, and no, nothing will ever stop me from flying. But after the explosion, I make sure that 100% of my focus and energy dealing the situation with my team. It was after I was back in the hotel room that I felt I was so shell-shocked. I realized I was so drained, and the incident has this huge impact on me. But so I decided to take 4 months off. I visited psychology 3 times, and just focus on improving this and practicing my knowledge and skills in the simulator until I feel I'm physically and mentally capable of taking the captain's seats again.
Well, Richard, it seems you're highly recognised and admired as an exceptional pilot whom everyone from passengers to crew members to other pilots look up to as a role model for setting the right example. Can you summarise for us what you believe makes a good pilot and what advice you would give to all pilots in the aviation industry today?
I believe a good pilot should demonstrate excellent airmanship in the area of judgment, situational awareness, discipline, and skills. I believe what makes a pilot more than just good is the ability to implement knowledge about the flight operation and to demonstrate the decision-making skills, even under immense pressure like during an emergency. I strongly encourage anyone who's interested in joining the aviation community, especially pilots. Continuous education and flight training is vital for your career and to shape your approach to the new changes and challenges you face in modern aviation.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have time for tonight. I'd like to thank all our guests who appeared on tonight's show. I'm Joyce Allen, and thanks for watching Channel 24 News.